Hi, welcome to your midweek minutes for Module 7. And this week we're talking about performance management. So I thought I'd just kind of talk a little bit about my experiences with both the science and the practice of performance management. It is a topic that I've been involved in both as a investigator of management science and as a manager in practice. And so it started out when I was getting my master's degree. I had to do research as part of that, and my advisor looked at how people evaluate performance, so rating scales. And he was a big proponent of comparing one person to another using a relative approach to measuring performance. And so as because I worked with him, I did a study comparing how accurate people were in rating performance using different types of scale, one of them being this relative or comparative approach where you compared one person to another being a more absolute approach where you just looked at one person and rated them on the scale. And I actually confirmed his hypotheses through an experiment, and went on to publish that paper. That was a nice way to start out my career as a management scientist. Interestingly enough, a number of years later, I was working at Sears Roebuck and Company. And they was working in the HR planning and research division, and they had asked me, about using a force distribution approach, which is another approach to being comparative or relative in measuring performance. So in a force distribution, only a couple people can get the highest rating, and then a few more can get the next highest rating, but you have to put each employee somewhere along that continuum, and a certain number of people have to get the lowest rating and the next to lowest rating. And so they were considering doing this at Sears because they were really having trouble that they felt like everybody was getting high ratings, and nobody was the managers were not distributing and really accurately rating the performance of the people under them. And so I ended up, doing some research on the force distribution, and created kind of a little research white paper to present to the executives, and actually had recommended against them using that approach, because it forced some people to be at the lowest levels, and by forcing people to be at those lowest levels, it really was not accurate and could raise a number of problems. And so I'm not really a believer of a forced distribution type of approach, and that's what I conveyed in that. And so that was part of my kind of the practice of this. Later, as in my career, I was a manager and had a number of people, a staff working with me, and had to do performance appraisals. And I can recall one time, one of the people that I had, I was writing up her performance appraisal, and there was one area where I rated her as average, and had said she could improve in that area, and it had to do with teamwork. And I felt that she'd really kind of distanced herself from the team, and I gave examples of that in my evaluation. And boy, she responded very negatively to that, and appealed it to my supervisor, and it really put a strain on our relationship. And so that gave me kind of insight into why managers often don't rate people as accurately as they might. I mean, I thought, okay, this is my job. I should rate someone accurately. This is how I believe. I didn't even give the person a poor rating, and I went through a lot of a lot of rigmarole for doing that. And but it's very interesting. So I think it's good. I think the science of management is very useful. I also think that getting in there and actually experiencing these processes as a manager is also very interesting, and how they come together, I think, is the most interesting. So, well, that's enough of my recollections on performance management. I've met with I think all of the groups, maybe save one, on the best practices group. If I haven't met with your group, boy, you really need to get together and get with me on this. So if you have questions, though, please contact me. You have my cell phone number. You've got my email. Lots of ways to get in touch with me, and I am monitoring those. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend. Bye now.